All right, y'all. Welcome back to another week of Fellowship of the Fleek Fantasy Football Podcast. Joining me today, we got the fantasy manager for Team Toilet, Mason Bartels.
Woo! I'm here to flush away the competition.
Thanks for joining me, man. You're the second one on the podcast, so I feel like that's probably a somewhat of an honor, right?
Well, I kind of figured it's because you can get the basics out of the way and get the teaching done for everyone.
Yeah.
Show them the ropes. Because right now I'm just going to be the dumb man
Well,
asking all the questions.
there's a very specific reason I picked you for this week, but we'll get to that later. So I like to start the podcast just really quick, just letting the audience know kind of how we know each other. So, um, I'll go ahead and say it. So Mason has been dating my sister for now 10 years,
8.
11 years, 8 years. Okay, my bad. Feels like forever. Um, but yeah, so obviously that's how we know each other. Anything else to add on that? I mean, obviously we spend a lot of family time together. You come over, eat
Yeah.
food.
I mean, it wasn't until like 2019 that we
Yeah,
actually got to know each other, to be fair,
that's
given
true.
the distance from Dallas and Houston. And Christmases you just destroy and miss.
I mean, honestly, it is really nice that you got into grad school down here because if you didn't, like,
Oh, yeah.
we wouldn't have spent really much time at all. Like we play, it's funny, we play a lot of similar games, but for whatever reason, we never play games together. But
That is true. That is true. I am trying to give up League, but
yeah, yeah. I have.
TFT still has its hooks in me. I don't know what I'm going to do about it.
I think that's technically a different game. I count that as a
It
different game.
That's fair enough. Yeah, it's not quite so toxic.
Yeah. So, who else in the league do you know, and about how long have you known them?
I mean, one, they're all your friends, so the ones that are Houston Central, like Nathan, I think I know the best. We've done some League with Jessie and Shin, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe a
So
couple
we've done
times.
some Clash tournaments with them.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, just anyone who's been at your house doing video game tournaments and I guess the Florida thing, that
Yep.
your engagement.
Yep. So you should have met Chase, and I mean, you met Joji before that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I met Joji when I first came down here, and you let us stay in your place.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. And then,
Yeah, well, you weren't there.
oh, okay. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. So just let's catch up, man. What's been up with you this past week, couple weeks?
I ran a 10K last week, and halfway through, and I was like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah, dude. I was on the
So
timing.
brutal.
I was on the timing track last night, and then we were doing like speed runs. And normally I like speed runs, but for whatever reason I just wasn't feeling it. And I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? But
It really is. Like, I've ran once this week, and I got 2 more runs to do this weekend, plus
yeah,
climbing. I'm just like, no.
yeah, yeah. We
Because I can't walk it, because then I would just rather go home. So I got to run the whole thing.
Yeah, I think we're at the point now where at least our first break is usually a little over 2 miles in. But some point, like, after we've hit 2 miles, we'll walk for maybe like 0.2 or something like that, and then we'll start running. And then after that, I try to take intentional breaks because I don't like getting to that point where you literally can't run anymore and you need to break. Because then I feel like your breaks are a lot longer than if you like take an intentional one like every mile or so.
I have no idea what you're talking about, man. You can
Just
always
push through
run. You
it.
can always jog a little bit. You can always move. You can always just do a little jog.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, so the other thing I wanted to catch up with you about, I am 2/3 of the way done with part 6 of JoJo.
Okay.
Have you watched part 6 already?
No, not at all. Is that the ocean?
The Stone Ocean.
I think I've watched I think 4 episodes of Stone Ocean. And it's definitely one of the more interesting ones with all the extra nonsense it's got going on. It really ratcheted it up.
Yeah, I honestly I was I assumed you would have already seen it, so that was kind of a surprise to me.
That's fair. And also it came out what, like 3 years
2021.
ago?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah. Like I remember the time freezing in the interview room or whatever, and
Yeah.
that's kind of it.
Yeah. Um
Sorry I ruined your surprise.
yeah, it's okay. Well, I was gonna tell you that I'm really enjoying part 6. It might be my second favorite part.
I I I can believe that.
Yeah.
It definitely took a it's a definitely a weird setting to be
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
and that's really makes it really fun.
Florida. Yeah.
Hey man, you'll end up there eventually.
No.
I
Uh,
don't know, man. All of Vicky's family's there. I don't think you're gonna get away from it.
yeah, we'll see. Jesse's not gonna like that. All right, let's go ahead and get into the fantasy football. So I got the presentation up now. So I'll take you through my matchup from last week first. So I was playing Nathan, and Nathan and I had the highest points week 1. So I was obviously very excited to see who of us would get the win.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty good. I mean, you can see he had no chance of beating me. I had a pretty decent selection of my players. Singletary was really the only one that I kind of messed up on, but I also went. Yeah, I thought Baltimore's defense was going to do a lot better. I specifically picked up New Orleans defense really only for week 1 because Baltimore was playing Kansas City, and thoughts that I would only have New Orleans really for that week 2 and have Baltimore be my main defense.
Mm-hmm.
But then they ended up destroying the Cowboys, so now I don't know if I'm going to keep them. We'll see. I think after this week I'll decide if I'm going to drop the New Orleans or not, but Baltimore has really been not impressing me so far. But yeah, luckily Josh Allen
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
go
yeah, I don't
ham
even know
and
how defense works.
yeah,
I'm
so
gonna be honest.
the scoring, there's a certain amount of points that you get for holding them to less points. So I think the
Less
math
points than what's expected,
than what's
or
expected. Yeah. So I think the baseline is 21 points or something like that. So
oh, okay.
if they score 21, your defense gets 0, and then as it goes down, they get more points. I think something like that. And then on top of that, they also get points for interceptions, fumbles, fumble
Mm-hmm.
recoveries, sacks, and then also defensive
Okay.
and special team scores. So if a punt returner scores a touchdown, you'll get the 6 or 7 points or whatever like that. Cool. So that was pretty much it for my recap. I think going into the Monday night game, I just needed 14 points. Or no, I think I needed 25 points from Barkley and Devontae Smith, and they both pulled in for me, so I was good there. Now, what brings me to my next slide is the reason why I invited you, specifically for this week, which was the trade.
Hey,
So
I put that trade through other people's eyes. I didn't go into this like, sure, whatever, right?
So let's talk about the trade. So Jesse, he's getting a little bit of a reputation as maybe I forgot what the term is called, like the trade something, the trade predator. But
Yeah, that was a really funny TikTok you found.
yeah. So I looked at the trade too. I also voted in favor of it. It looked fine. I mean, Alvin
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara used to be a top 5 running back in the league, maybe 3+ years ago for a good bit of time. But in the last few years, he's kind of taken a step back. So he sent you this trade. So how many people did you have look over the trade?
So I have a coworker and her boyfriend enjoys fantasy football. He's in like 4 leagues right now. So he looked it over and then he sent it to his group chat. And so it was approved by several people. And he was just like, yeah, you're losing. I mean, one, because, my team's lacking in points because I have two piss poor quarterbacks who can't do their job. So I gotta find all the points somewhere. And right now I'm just like, all right, what running back can I play today that's gonna do well?
So at what point did you notice or realize how many points Alvin Kamara had in the
Uh
weekend?
It was.
The game was at Sunday at noon, so that was when the game was.
I mean, when you guys message in the chat, I'm checking it and I'm looking, and I saw it and I said hot damn. And then Fraser, which is my coworker's boyfriend, he texted me, said, "Well, it's. I would still say it's a good trade. Hopefully, it'll pay out in the long run. But today, you kind of lost."
Yeah. That's funny. So let's yeah, so here I got your stats up for your week 2 matchup. Walk
Yeah,
me
I
through
don't
it.
think this was not a fair game. Prame lost all of his players.
Yeah, he's in a very bad spot right now. But what
Yeah,
was
and I still barely pulled out. Like it's not like I'm not looking great at all.
That's fair. So let's see. I mean, Nico Collins really balled out for you. Those are a
Yeah.
lot of points that he got that I was hoping Stefan Diggs would get. And Ramondre Stevenson, I remember went off week 1 too, but you hadn't started him, so it seems like he might be your best player so far.
Yeah, he's putting in a lot of work. You know, I just need one of these quarterbacks to like maybe give me a green number would be nice. And then I can be actually competitive.
Yeah. So, was there any specific players that you really thought about starting over another one, and how'd you come up with those decisions?
So basically, well, Collins was sick, Thursday. So I kept checking, kept updating, and then I'm sending text to Fraser saying, "All right, what do I do? Does this lineup look good?" Because I basically sent him my lineup, say, "Hey, would you make any changes?" He said, before Collins was sick, he said I would put Collins in because he's playing indoors and Pittman's playing outdoors. Um, and I said, okay, makes sense to me. And then I saw he was sick, so then I swapped him out. And then I saw he was starting, so I put him back in. And
Nice.
I'm glad I'm glad I actually did that because otherwise,
You would have
I
lost.
think I would have probably lost. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have lost. Cool. And then so like yeah, it looks like you made the right call there. And then other than that, I mean, looking at that bar, it says you left a lot of points on the bench, but I'll be honest, I'm not. Oh, I guess Brock Bowers went off, but
Yeah.
McBride went off too. Oh, so I
Yeah.
guess Bowers could have been your flex, and then Ramondre would have been your starting running back. So that's about like 10 points there. And
Yeah.
then
I might put Stafford as my main quarterback and then put some other person as my flex, my super flex, because
yeah,
my
because Caleb. Yeah,
Caleb's not doing squat.
yeah, yeah. It's not a bad idea. I mean, the funny thing is, I really wanted to draft Caleb Williams. Like that was my going into the draft. Is like I'm really high on him. I think he's gonna have a really good rookie year. But at
Mm-hmm.
at my pick at 6, I was like, I'm not taking Caleb at 6. I took Lamar, and then on the way back, Joe Burrow was still there, and I was like, I can't take Caleb over Joe Burrow. But Joe Burrow has honestly not been that great for me. So, but it's
Yeah,
whatever. I think
as
he's
he's
gonna
been
pick it
winning
up.
every game.
I've won 2 games, but Joe Burrow has underperformed in both. But the Bengals usually start off slow, so I'm expecting him to pick up. All right, so here we go. I took some screenshots of what your lineups looked like at some point today. So this is obviously
Yeah,
not
I haven't
necessarily
changed
locked
them, so
in.
it's what it is right now. Before I
Yeah.
change it after this call.
Yeah, so you're playing Shin next. Do you have any specific you know, rivalries with Shin? Is this going to be a great win if you win, or you kind of just want to you don't
I
really
mean,
care?
doesn't everyone want to beat Shin? He talks so much.
I mean, I'm not sure. This is only week 2, so I'm not sure who the favorite is. I feel like I'm the favorite to beat just because I'm the commissioner and people like to shit on me. But Shin might be another one of them too. But yeah, so talk me through what you're thinking for this week. Sounds like you might be benching Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and then I know that if I do that, he's gonna do well today or this
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like, well, do I want him to do well or bad? Do I keep him in my lineup or not?
Do you have a process on like how you do your research to decide who you want to start? I mean, obviously there's a lot of different sources out there.
No, I look to see if the team they're playing is green or red, and then send the lineup to Fraser
Yeah.
and say, all right, is this good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's not a bad approach. One other thing that I would also potentially do is look at like if Caleb's playing the Colts, just look at the quarterbacks that have played the Colts last and see how they performed.
Mm. Oh,
Um,
okay.
Because
I
it's
guess that's a
weird.
good
Like
way
I'm
to
not
do it.
sure that how that red green thing is calculated. Like it's some kind of stats that tell you the perceived difficulty of that defense, but
Hmm.
sometimes it's like over calculated on passing defense versus rushing defense. And with Caleb,
Right.
he's a mobile quarterback, so like maybe they have a really good pass defense, but Caleb he might do well because he can run too. So it's just one of those things where I like to look at like if for quarterback specifically, I like to look at the other quarterbacks that have played that defense recently. But at week 3, you still don't have a lot of data to really help you figure that out.
True. I mean, like how often do you use last year's data to formulate your stuff?
Last year's data, I usually am only using for picking up like random backups. So like this week, obviously, like Kansas City, they lost their running back, so all 3 of their backups were kind of like hot commodities. But since it's
Hmm.
only week 2, like there's not enough data for this year to go off of. So I will look at last year's data for like those like new players or players that switch teams. So I just kind of want to see like, oh, did they end last year kind of getting better, or were they kind of just mid the whole time? But probably by week 5 or 6, I wouldn't even check last year's unless it's someone who's like a free agent that wasn't even playing this year at all, and there was no data. Then maybe I would look at last year. So are you thinking this is? I guess you said you haven't really set your lineup yet. Do you have any thoughts on what you're going to go in with so far?
Uh, yeah, I think running with one quarterback and bringing up Robinson is probably what I'm going to do. I mean, other than that, I don't think there's. I mean,
What about McBride?
I could put McBride in. Yeah. I mean, I need to take. I mean, it's red, so like that's why I switched it with the other tight end. But I could
Mm-hmm.
definitely switch him back
Yeah, yeah.
because
Detroit.
both of them got this about the same amount of points last week.
Yeah,
Both my tight ends, so I wasn't something I was worried about.
yeah.
Because that first week McBride didn't do anything, but the second week he did. So I'm like, I feel like tight ends are like a toss up whether or not they're gonna be used or not.
Yeah, tight ends have always felt like there's like 5 tight ends in the league that are scoring like similarly to a wide receiver, and then the rest of them are just like barely doing anything.
Yeah, because
And
like it really just depends on how
yeah,
that team plays,
yep.
their offense.
Was there anything else you want to touch on for your game coming up? Do you have any shit talking you want to get out on the podcast to Shin, or keep it
I
civil?
mean, we know Shin's not gonna watch this. He's too busy trading stocks.
What? Not sure what that's referencing. I don't know if Shin's much of a stocks guy.
Oh, is he not? Oh,
No.
must be confusing for someone who's smart.
All right, so yeah, I was really upset. All right, maybe really is a strong word. I was a little upset when I found out I was playing Prem this week because I really
Oh,
want my boy to get a win, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna hand him a win though. So if he beats me, I'll be hella. It's kind
He's
of a
not
win-win.
gonna. I mean, he picked up some people this week, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe he's. I mean, he's trying,
He's
but
trying. He's trying.
honestly, if I was in his position and then I lost a third game, I'd be ready to give up and not care anymore.
No, man, there's still so much season left. There's so much season left. I think the league I won last year, I think I started like 0-4, but I had like really high points scored. I just like really had bad luck with who I matched up against. And then I
Hmm.
had like a 6 or 7 week win streak. And then I kind of coasted into the playoffs and then ended up winning. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
he's not getting a lot of points.
Yeah, but he has good players like Justin Herbert and Jared Goff. Like last year, scored really well, and he got them at good picks. Like he's just been getting really unlucky. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's a win-win because either I win the game, or if he beats me, I'll be happy for him.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Well,
like
then just
yeah,
trade him a guy then.
no, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all
Just a
that.
little collusion.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's basically it. I mean, the main update with my team is Cooper Cup now got hurt.
Yeah,
So that's not looking.
that whole team's I feel like is hurt.
Yeah, Yeah, but we can kind of go into the waivers because that kind of is on brand. So
Yeah,
here,
I tried to pick up a quarterback this week, but
yeah,
obviously.
yeah. So we had a lot of waiver activity this week, which is always fun to
Mm-hmm.
see because it's so interesting because it's like I wish you could see what other people's waivers were in. Like obviously, like that would just ruin a lot of the strategy because you don't know what people are who they're putting waivers
Mm-hmm.
in for. But I was
Oh,
like,
because then you could just copy their stuff and just
well, no, I
take their
mean,
info and really.
it,
Oh, especially like if you're playing them and you have a lower waiver, you could just
yes,
dump a
yeah,
guy and steal their stuff. Yeah.
yeah. But it's like I knew there was going to be a lot of people trying to get the same guys. So, and I mean, I was talking to Prem and I was coaching him on what he should go for. So, um, he need, you know, I still think his quarterbacks are gonna get better, but at least for now, it seems like Sam Darnold might be doing well. I really hope he has a good game this week, and the one of the other ones he took out doesn't have a really good week. But yeah, it
Yeah,
looks
that
like
would be hard.
Sam Darnold got stolen from you. Is that the only waiver you had in?
No, I swapped my defense out.
Yeah, but I don't think that included a Oh, that was a waiver,
No
but
one,
nope,
there was a
nobody
waiver, but
else.
no one had
Nobody
a claim
else.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I personally wouldn't have used a waiver spot for a defense switch out.
I don't even know what a waiver spot means.
So the way the waiver wire works, basically, whenever you use your waiver, you'll go back last in line, and so it's just we
Hmm.
all take turns on getting our pick. So
Oh, okay.
Prem was in the number 2 waiver spot. So the only person who could have taken Sam Darnold over him was Chase because he had the number 1 waiver spot, and then I
Hmm.
had number 3. So once Sam Darnold's pickup got registered for Prem, he immediately went to 10. And then when
Right.
Demarcus
Which is why he
Robbins,
didn't get.
which is why he didn't get Carson Steele.
Yeah.
And then when I processed Demarcus Robinson, I dropped down to 10 and he bumped up to 9. So that's how it goes. But after the waivers are processed, you can make a bunch of moves with whoever's there before the game starts, and those are kind of free
Okay, so I
moves.
should have just waited
You should have
until
just waited, yeah.
today to pick up my defense.
Not even today, like the waivers process at like midnight or some random time. I think it's like 5 a.m. or something like that.
It's 2 a.m. on Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, and I think that was the default setting, so I haven't changed that. I was thinking of maybe changing the waivers to process Wednesday just so that I could have more time to do the podcast after that's done. But I'll let you guys know if I end up doing that. So as soon as the waivers process, like they're processed, and then all the roster changes after that, up
Hmm.
until the players play is basically fair game. So you can see like down here on the bottom right, Wade like made a whole bunch of moves. So
Jesus Christ, dude.
those moves don't affect his waiver order.
Yeah, why'd he even bother picking people?
What do you mean? Oh, draft.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah. He went pretty ham in the free agency afterward. Um, yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for waivers. So at least now you know how waivers work. So next time
Yeah, no,
you can play with
it's
that.
actually very helpful. Now
Yeah.
I can start making big plays.
Yeah. And hopefully I didn't say anything wrong and look like an idiot, but if anyone watches this, then they'll be able to tell us that. All right, so last thing I got on deck is the power ranking. So this is obviously from ChatGPT. I have a custom GPT I'm working on to ingest a lot of this information and give a
Yeah.
funny output. And I thought it was interesting that it put you at 5 as well, but Wade specifically had to call you out. Now, I don't know if there's some bad blood because I know you guys played in week 1. You fired shots about flushing his cards down the toilet. Then he destroyed you. Now he's salty that you got the 5 spot. So maybe you and Wade actually are the real rivals here.
I mean, maybe I don't know, man. He's making so many plays. He probably just has no trust in his team. That's the issue.
That's true,
He
man.
does his heart is not in the cards.
That sounds right. That sounds right. Heart's not in the cards. But yeah, I feel like number 1 through 4 makes sense. I forgot to share the power rankings week 1, but I was number 1, so I was happy with
Mm.
that. I
Yeah,
dropped
you're dominating. Everyone who sees your team is like, oh yeah, he's got it in the bag.
I mean, now I don't know with Alvin. If Alvin Kamara like even plays just 70% as good as he did on average for the rest of the season, then Jessie I think might have the best team. He still has not the best setup for quarterbacks, I think, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have the best team. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. He was I have a trade pending from him right now. Still,
Oh, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so he wants McBride,
Okay.
right? Because he's got a shit tight end, and he's trying to trade
Well, he
me.
had Likely, and Likely went ham week 1, but then didn't do much week 2.
He's trying to give me Malik Wilfs.
Is he a quarterback?
Willis? Yeah, the backup quarterback for starting quarterback right now, I think.
Yeah, but I think Jordan Love is only a few weeks before he's back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he's trying to
he
hoe
was
you again.
he was trying to hoe me hard. First he first it was just quarterback for tight end. I was like, no, I'm not giving you a tight end to play against me for a quarterback that's not going to be playing in 3 weeks. and then he said, "Oh, I'll throw in another player."
So
But no, we'll decline him live right now, so he knows what it feels like.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, by the time this video is posted, the trade will be declined.
That's right.
I don't think I have any trades in. Is there any players you have that are up for trade?
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to talk to my consultants.
So, I wanted to talk about this earlier actually, and I know I've asked you this already in person, but this is your first time doing fantasy. 2 weeks in. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Do you see yourself doing this in the future?
It's weird because like I find myself on the weekend being like, all right, I think I need to put a football game on, but then I literally can't. I don't have anything to put a football game on. I don't have any of the services. And 2, I'm just like, even if I put a football game on, I don't even know. There's too many things to keep track of. There's too many people playing at once. And then like it is also kind of weird because I'm like, oh, I hope they do well, but also don't do so well that it goes against my own defense.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny because you're like rooting for the team, but the guy you're playing against also has a guy on that team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean there's too much to consider, so I just try not to think about it too much.
Do you have any other friend groups that have fantasy leagues that have been going on for a while, or not really?
No, not really. Most people in science don't sport, so
Yeah. We got a lot of STEM guys in here though. Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
yeah. But I'm talking like at a university in basic science,
Yeah.
studying cancer, not engineers.
That's true. That's true. That's a little different.
You can put 5 engineers in a room and no one's going to know anything about the job that the others do.
Yeah. The only one that might be close ish is Jessie in pharmacy, but that's about it. Cool. Well,
yeah, he should know some chemistry.
Yeah, he should. So, anything else you want to talk about, or you want to call it here?
I don't really have any topics, and then we both got to get a run in today. I'm pretty sure.
We do.
Are you doing your long run this weekend?
Yeah, we usually do our long runs on Sunday. That's what we're going for. Yeah. So we have to do a 30. We have to do a 30-minute run tonight.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Cool. All right, we'll see you, bro. Thank you for coming.
All right, thanks for hosting. I'll see you around.